thank Chief Guest for providing his gracious presence to join us today. Now, I invite Dr. R. Rajesh Sir, Professor and Head, Department of Commerce, Information Technology and Banking and Insurance, to welcome the gathering.
A very good morning to everybody present in this meeting. So it is a great effort by the department and the commerce stream to organize this FDP, and I welcome everybody who has joined us for this event. My special welcome for Ramanathan Balakrishnan sir. Welcome sir. And I am deeply privileged to introduce him. He has an expertise in biomedical. He is a biomedical professional, an entrepreneur leader, and a business management consultant, and the founder and managing director of ACE in the International Private Limited, Singapore. He holds a PhD degree in biomedical science with more than 24 years of experience in research and development. He has various connections with Taiwan and Singapore. Currently, he is functioning as adjunct faculty in various institutions. And his experience engaged in biomedical and clinical research areas in renowned institutions as well as reputed healthcare industries has resulted in various contributions. He has published several research articles and has authored many books and chapters. He is a WSQ ACTA trained certified trainer and come assessor to coordinate training and facilitation program under approved training organizations affiliated to Workforce Development Authority in Singapore. He is an expert in quality, environment, health and safety, internal audit, those processes relating in various institutions and companies. He has received an award through Singapore. He was a past vice chairman for parent support group in Tanglin Secondary School and recognized for his award, Best Partner Award in 2021. He is very keen to organize international conferences, symposia, seminars, webinars, training sessions, workshops, awarding programs, and competitions all around the world. Further, he has acted as a mentor and coach in many projects to guide the people at various levels and various fields. His burning desire is to offer professional consultancy services in business and management, learning and development, knowledge and innovative technology transfer segments. He is very much interested to formulate institute industry partnership to provide real-time learning, on-job training, experiential learning, internship opportunities, students exchange program, faculty development program, and to create better startup ecosystem in the institutional atmosphere. He is passionate in raising investments for businesses and procuring funds to support companies and institutions and industries which really will help in upscaling the business operation to the next level. So we are very much privileged to have you as a resource person for this session, sir. Welcome. Thank you very much. Now I hand over the session to Ramanathan, sir.
Good morning, all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks for giving this particular opportunity in the International Faculty Development Program. The thematic idea is futuristic educational ecosystem, how we are handling the current ecosystem to transform to the next level. So there are so many ideas, so many strategies, and so many stakeholders who are involved with this particular transformational changes. So today I'm going to speak with the perspectives and aspects which are making the change in near future. I will start to share my slides. So the title of today's presentation is Futuristic Educational Ecosystem as Better Strategic Pathways of Teaching and Learning. So as far as concerning from the traditional way of teaching and learning, today we are in the digital era where we are using so many tools, equipments and gadgets for engaging our teaching and learning atmosphere in a fruitful way. So the cartoon pictures also illustrating the same hypothesis. We are involving with the network of different tools mobile phones, gadgets, laptops, computers, and online sources like learning portals, learning platforms, or even watching videos through YouTube channels and Netflix and so on. So we are in the educational system to transform the knowledge to equip the people as a future workforce. How do they plug and play in the working atmosphere? It is illustrating with the cartoon pictures here. Either they are engaging with the equipments or enabling themselves to with the team purpose in mind. And today, my speech will enlighten the particular pathways where we have to improve and we have to acquire the sufficient capacity or knowledge for the futuristic goals. Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, he narrated the theories of natural selection. Three important theories: struggle for existence, use and disuse theory, survival of the fittest. So it is very much applicable for the learning and improving the system through the educational atmospheres. A person who are having the struggle to become existing in the current learning atmosphere, whether they are having the mindset, learn, unlearn, relearn kind of capacity, whatever they learn in the previous ecosystem may not be applicable for the current and future values. So we have to unlearn and try to relearn ourselves. Survival of the fittest according to the current category, because recently the COVID also made a lot of challenges for the people. The classroom teaching moved on to the online sources. So many people, they struggle how to make themselves to transform for online teaching, online learning kind of environment. So learning atmosphere, engaging these five important things: the contents, the strategies, and then the learning culture, learning ways or learning practices, and equipping with the technologies, and who are the learners, the person who are involving for themselves into the learning atmosphere. All these things are making the understanding pattern for us before entering into the talk. Always the pathways, the guidelines or the guidance or the system which are matter for us. Without making the system or the guidelines or the pathways, the success could not be achieved. So from the education starting point, the learners pathways are endorsing the employment skills or employment categories, or building the capacities for the employment category. So that is transforming to the workforce in near future. Being in smart nation environment of Singapore, there are a lot of hurdles, lot of barriers, or lot of competitions which are emerging in day-to-day activities or day-to-day kind of incorporation of technology sources or futuristic values what they wanted to procure from the current workforces. So these are all the values we must need to think in front of us, creating the opportunities for the learners, how to equip them or how to engage them for the successful pathway. It matters a lot, and preparing the guidelines or programs or the events, whatever the way. Learners' pathways are very important, whether they are in the school education, how to learn the curricular portion for the pedagogical environment, or they are involving for the futuristic development into the higher education. They are degree or doing PhD research degree whatsoever. The workforce, whether they are ready to incorporate into the real-time challenges of the institutions or industries. These are all the focus points we must need to ensure when we are preparing the curriculum or designing the learning strategies. Employers, they are engaging the workforce for their dream of achievement. Organizations have certain values and standards. They wanted to incorporate the employees into the ecosystem of the organization, whether it is uh, making the business or doing some kind of social services or engaging the people for the futuristic involvement. So these are all the quality must need to endorse and propel the conditions according to the situation or the futuristic challenges which are pointing out, and analyzing the risk factors, what are the risk factors involved for that to eradicate. So we must need to design such a way for our equipping the current educational ecosystem to transform for the futuristic educational models. Now, everywhere the Sustainable Development Goals proposed by the United Nations, here 17 factors involved, and then people life. So the 17 factors which are making the ensurement and the assurance for the people life to transform into the next level. We must need to learn all these 17 sustainable development goals to incorporate for our educational ecosystem that will enable the person who can build up the capacity to meet out with the challenges in near future to maintain the sustainable developments in their countries or the companies, especially the 21st century skills which are emerging with the context of United Nations social development goals for students. Quality education, number 4. Number 5, the gender equality. Number 11, the sustainable cities and communities, which are the futuristic development perspectives. Responsible consumption and production, because many things are getting produced, but there is no proper way of consuming the right product or right items. So we must need to ensure the responsible consumption and the productions. Producers are coming from different environment, but many places it is not materializing the way to utilize. So we must need to ensure all these factors. Climatic actions. As of now, the global warming is giving a threat and a warning for the people who wanted to ensure their activities should not elevate the global warming or carbon emission, which are making the change in the climate. Life below water, underwater. I wanted to tell one thing. Actually, the economical values in the global perspective is going towards $100 trillion. But among the $100 trillion, $24 trillion economy bound with marine ecosystem. So it is very essential to think and prosper. The life below water is also an important factor to consider. Sustainable economic development. The way what we are engaging the different stakeholders in the academic development, students community who wanted to learn the technical skills, knowledges, and other capacities which are making them to transform as a workforce. Academia is providing the atmosphere where the professionals are engaging the teaching practices and enabling the persons to learn and explore. There are a lot of involvement in the academic stakeholders in the area, and then the industry partners who are willing to procure the value added workforces to the environment of industrial atmosphere. They wanted to engage students for certain level of on-job training or real-time learning or project learning. Same time, they wanted to recruit them for their future workforce conditions. Education is providing the knowledge dissemination, providing the training or conducting workshops along with the different stakeholders, or providing the opportunity of internship or apprenticeship kind of thing to make them to understand the ethical way of learning and establishing the work culture in their futuristic purpose. Research where the technology development created from the knowledge sources which are bound with the current value knowledges or the futuristic development of the ideas or the technologies incorporating into the research ecosystem, enabling the people to work for some ideas or concepts which are going to goal sets in the near future, like digital sources also emerging in such a way. So now it is providing the opportunity to connect us. I am sitting in Singapore, you are living in India. So you are hearing from uh, the Singapore in the real time through these digital connections, the Google Meet platform. This is the value, the entrepreneurship who wanted to exploit the knowledge or the product which are emerging currently from the atmosphere, and they are investing the money, they are procuring the business values and enabling the entrepreneurship achievement. So these are all the things we must need to ensure for the sustainable academic development when we are designing in our courses or the educational ecosystem or any atmosphere where you are conducting any program related to the academic development. As of now, the current challenge we are facing, we can't able to connect to the real time or the on-job demands. So it is also an important element to consider institute and industry partnership, that is having a multifaceted options for the people to learn and explore. As earlier I mentioned, the 17 factors are important for the sustainable development goals. The same way, there are many skills which are required for the person to engage the job or engage the task and complete it very successfully. So the competency skills or the competency mindset, which are very essential for enabling the person or engaging the person for the different tasks or different projects. They have to prove themselves how to engage for those kind of things. So the center of competency is available from the institutional atmosphere, the first of its kind, and later the government agencies who are framing or who are guiding the particular academic environment to ensure. That's why the new education policies are implemented in India. So everywhere the condition of learning and improving the strategies are making the fruitful things as per the expectation for the current opportunities. Industry and entrepreneurship, they are all the partnership holders and stakeholders to support for raising the competency skills which are very much demanded. As of now, the new generation technologies emerging well for the industrial 4.0 transformation. So these are all the values are recurring as of now. The professionals and the different entities or different people who wanted to lift up this particular condition for the community. Uh, the social enterprises also engaging to support some training courses or conducting workshops for the underprivileged community to lift up by learning and exploring well. Current workforces we could categorize like this: baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. Gen Y are millennials, Gen Z are the new generation group, Gen X are non-millennials. So the baby boomers who born between 1944 to 1964, they are all having almost the age between 55 to 75. They are very idealistic. They are having different kind of capacity in their mind, revolutionary, or they are having the sense to work with a different kind of environment as per their belief system. Gen X, the non-millennials born between 1965 to 1979, they might be having the age group 40 to 54. So they are all materialistic kind of mindset personality. They are very competitive. They are having more individual capacity to manage their tasks. Millennials born between 1980 to 1994, they are having the age group between 25 to 39. They are very global perspective oriented. They are having the questioning kind of uh, personality, because always they wanted to analyze the situation and they want to see the realistic perspective, whether it is supporting for their vision to make the change. Self-oriented, they are very personal as well as attributes oriented. That is the personality of millennials. New generation capacity holders, they born after 1995, so they are almost less than 24 years as of now. They don't have the clear-cut idea because they are having all these gadgets-oriented atmosphere undefined, and they are very much talkative but very realistic to uh, engage their activities. So the futuristic workforces emerging from this group, almost this particular graphical points we could understand. It is reducing from 60 or 64 years after, but boosting up from uh, millennials level and new generation level. But how do we make it possible from the transformation from one generation to next generation? It is all in our mind to design the curricular pattern for the educational ecosystem. From this graphical presentation, we could able to analyze how do we engage our learning pattern to ensure through the technology. That is very, very essential. We have to provide the sufficient technology platform or technological tools to engage the genius at population, the new generation population, because they are believing they wanted to go with this particular point of view. How do they engage different kind of tools or different kind of learning patterns to improve the strategy of learning? Uh, you could see here the collaborate partners with these particular things. They are engaging even YouTube as a learning platform or tool. Uh, Sometimes they are engaging the online sources like massive online open courses as a tool for providing the supporting things. 75% of the geniuses they don't have the confidence to go with college education because they are believing on job demand. They're like job oriented skill sets are very important. So the futuristic things for different capacity from different category of job sources, they have to ensure they are providing the right skills for the person who are engaging the education or involving for projects or enabling themselves to learn from the real-time atmosphere. So we have to provide sufficient skill sets which are making them to be very competitive as well as competent-oriented personality. So that is the way we have to enable the professional learning ecosystem. That is the point of thing we have to take it out. The university providing the curricular portion for the college to follow. Autonomous colleges, they create their own curricular portion, but they must need to think and ensure whether the professional values are involved for that particular curriculum. It is not only providing the knowledge or the concepts to tute, but also engaging different kind of problem-based learning or activity-based learning or case studies to enable and engage them for the futuristic skill sets which are very much demanded. When thinking about to form the future of work, the designing of jobs or job roles or job responsibilities, we have to provide the support from the culture values. That way, we can engage and empower the workers to align together with the digital skills. The same way, the workforces are getting collaboration with the different kind of atmosphere, like human versus with the machines or technologies. These are all the competencies they have to ensure, because many people they can manage their own task as a manual manner, but when systematic approach or systematic things emerge, they can't able to cope up well because they don't know the software to handle, they don't know the equipment to handle. So that is the way we have to ensure the human must need to learn the technological platform or technological resources to handle very efficiently. The workspace is also getting changed as of now, as I already mentioned. Even for the teaching job or teaching atmosphere, we have to ensure how do they plug and play for that. So that is the aspects we must need to cover. There are difference between the pedagogy, andragogy, and pedagogy. We have to understand the pedagogy is providing the curricular learning center of attraction from the teachers who are tutoring, who are engaging. The andragogy is the lifelong learning where the adults are getting exposed for the lifelong learning atmosphere. Pedagogy is the social learning atmosphere where they are engaging the peer learning or group learning from the society, where they are conducting different kind of programs like conferences, workshops, business summits, or exhibitions to showcase for the people who learn and update their knowledge. Learning and development, it is getting optimized through different kind of perspection like new age psychometrics. Earlier we have different kind of learning model that is 70% providing through the knowledge or theory based kind of concepts, 20% the relevant practical oriented thing, 10% only the assignment or projects they are engaging for their learning pattern. But currently the patterns are getting changed. 70% are providing the challenging projects, that is the assignments or problems which are ensuring them to learn and equip well. 20% the peer learning kind of things from the current atmosphere. 10% only the classroom which are providing the necessary courseworks or necessary practices to uh, engage for a training groups. So this is the values we have to ensure. Most of the learning skills are coming from the real-time learning, that is engaging current projects or assignments. Otherwise, they can't able to reflect the skill sets which are very essential to be successful. From this graphics, we could learn the future of learning pattern entirely changing. Uh, how do they manage? Because the concepts are getting globalized environment. Now, many schools they are adapting a global curricular learning pattern like Cambridge Education, IBDP programs, or international schools which are getting into the international syllabus to provide for the schools children to learn. So we have to think how do we redesign or review our current curricular pattern for the global perspective, global problems. Here in Singapore, they are having this kind of approach, and they are now top listed kind of business school in the world. Um, they may be in the top three among one. So we have to think the global curriculum is very, very essential. We have to design the learning pattern in such a way and ensuring the learning process and the learning agencies who are providing the support from different stakeholding points. We have to engage the right stakeholders or right professionals who are having uh, the necessary skill sets or the experience to ensure the learning pattern as a successful pathways, and making the competency skills which are making very essential skills for completing the task completing competency skills. That way you have to design the curriculum, otherwise it could be outdated. How technology is shaping the learning pattern as of now. Traditional teaching was very much bound in the classroom. Otherwise, they may engage certain values from on-job related thing. But as of now, the flipped focus out of classrooms, we must need to think and prosper well. Classroom teaching is a base, but the majority of the portions in sections are coming from external environment. That value we must need to ensure. It's not a teacher oriented like traditional pathways, but it is a student centered pathway. They have to push themselves into the scenario, and they have to create the values according to the situation and enable themselves how to fit into the learning ecosystem. Now we are having the technological advancement, so that is the way we are having the opportunity to engage and equip with different kind of other sources like online. We are providing this kind of platform, Google Meet, Zoom, uh, Cisco platforms. Other ways we could engage the classroom or seminar room or conference call through projections kind of support, slide or videos or any other sources we are engaging. Now the AR VR kind of atmosphere is also created, augmented reality, virtual reality oriented, self-enabled kind of practices they are ensuring. So that is the way the critical skills or critical learning patterns uh, they can provide to the people, like pilot sitting inside the cockpit. They can able to create this simulator model, and they provide the AR VR kind of atmosphere. It is ensuring the learning is very comfortable and easy for them to create certain kind of skill sets through that. Teaching in the 21st century without these kind of smart classrooms, we could not able to plan well that much. The activities and the involvement or the practice you have to ensure through the learning atmosphere in the smart classrooms. It is the time for the normal classroom. We can't able to create the values from the normal classroom. So artificial intelligence, online learning platform are the futuristic value added for the education. In Asia, it is the growing pattern for us to think and enable the artificial intelligence or online sources which are transforming the learning in a fruitful way and ensuring the skill sets are equipped well for the students. Current education and learning ecosystem is adapting with STEM-based science, technology, engineering, mathematics in the ecosystem. Either it is a small learning group or a school level or any kind of stakeholders who are involved with a different kind of environment like libraries or higher learning institutions or post-school atmosphere or community-based kind of engagements or business-oriented kind of atmospheres like the Chamber of Commerce also conducting lot of training courses, workshops, conferences, conclaves, summits like that. So the ecosystem is a natural way to transform the learning pattern for the people. Many opportunities they can go with online courses or books, video contents or tutorials kind of atmosphere. So the class 12 involved in the ecosystem, especially in the school atmosphere, there are a lot of changes endorsed, and the schools must need to procure the right sources, um, providing the right opportunity for both teachers and students who wanted to learn in that particular ecosystem very comfortably. That way only you can impact what you want to make and the change in the learning atmosphere. So without that, the technical assistance or technical opportunities to plug and play with the ecosystem, they can't ensure the futuristic values because in future if they are going to emerge in any atmosphere, they can't withstand for a long run. That's why the new learning ecosystem is providing these five elements. These are all the values we must need to ensure. Navigation, wrap around supports, targeted education, integrated earning and learning kind of things. Both the way they can work and learn together. That is the continuing education pattern. Transparent in the hiring. That is very, very important. You can't compromise when you are recruiting a talent for your organization. You have to um, conduct a stipulated way to testify without that if any ill-minded or non-talent group will involve, so they will destroy the atmosphere of working conditions. Project-based learning also important or a problem-based learning because the projects are providing the opportunity to solve the problem. So that is the way we have to provide the atmosphere of collaborations with the different personalities or different uh, professionals or different entities or enterprises who are the stakeholders to support. We have to ensure the employability skills, either soft skill or the technical skills or the hard skills, whatever the way, we must need to provide the atmosphere to learn and develop the employability oriented skill sets. Community partners, social enterprises like CSR value provisions and funds are available. So we have to procure those kind of sources for enabling and engaging the learners to make more sufficient capacity to build on their workforce skills. Uh, Meantime, we have to procure the right feedback or revision on the pattern of learning. In Singapore, we are providing the training to the people. Always we are getting the feedback and we want to review and understand their problem or improving the strategy if any they wanted to point out. And we are getting the feedback from the employers as well, whether the learners are ensuring the right added value for their organization or not. So these are all the things very much important. That is the way the training or learning or providing the authentic value for the people who are very much demanded and required for the future workforce environment. The workplace learning in the ecosystem are the must one as of now. It is providing the opportunity for the people to learn and explore well, and they are ensuring their contribution is very much demanded or very much successful for the requirements as per the demands. So we have to design such a way. This is an example where the learning ecosystem is having the right content or right strategies or right learning culture or procuring the right technological engagements, and who are the people must come forward to learn and explore. The other graphical pictures mentioning the learning ecosystem as a model of learning where the pathways are providing the necessary guidelines or transformational changes. This is for the gardeners. How do they pick up the learning pattern from the current atmosphere to ensure for their values to engage for the future workforces? Now it is the era of e-learning. Everywhere the online sources, online learning patterns are very much demanded because the work and learn is very complicated environment. So 24 by 7, they wanted to provide this automated kind of e-learning pattern. Massive online open courses are the sources. Many universities, many learning atmosphere kind of environment, they are engaging this particular platform. This is a complex of e-learning things where the brainstorming ideas we can follow. This is providing certain kind of value addition for the current ecosystem. That's the way the MOOC providers are getting uh, very high responsibility, like Coursera engaging nearly 27 million people, EDX engaging 11 million people. Other rest of the things are lesser than them, but it's still the market values are very high. We have to think how to adapt these kind of massive online open courses for our current learning ecosystem or teaching ecosystem. Um, why should these values are very much attractive as of now? Because of the delivery of the content easy to learn and very comfortable for them whenever they wanted to spend time to learn. Anyone can participate. There is no restrictions, age group or regional presentations or any other hurdles would not be a point here. No limit in attendance. It's on your own way. You have to learn on yourself. That is the way the global learning pattern is shrinked like a global village, interconnected in a small atmosphere like India. So these are all the values we can procure. Personal enrichment kind of things as of now. Lifelong learning and continuing education also possible for you. A digital revolution, because of the digital conditions or digital supports, it is making the new revolutionary pattern in the learning atmospheres. We have to focus for certain values like scalability and the community to connect. So the MOOC online courses are enabling and ensuring this kind of learning pattern, whether the small size to larger size, or it is providing the up-to-date knowledge for the people and making the real-time connections to learn and uh, engage. The learning atmosphere is very fruitful to provide the expected results for individual as well as community oriented. The amazing MOOC online courses, we have to focus on our goals and design the goals, determine the targets, how to prepare ourselves to reach the target, select a platform, online platform, bring certain experts to come together as a learning service provider, design outlines of the curriculum or contents, assemble the information for the people to follow, or providing the instructions or any kind of guidelines, whatever the way they have to equip and learn certain things as a strategical model. When I used to study in Institute of Adult Learning, the online e-portfolio we are using. So whatever the assignments, whatever the reflections, whatever the reports, we have to submit through the online. It is the evidence-based kind of assessment. So whatever the way we are reflecting to the lessons or learning patterns, all points are getting recorded in a timely manner. So that is the way we have to improve our strategies. So global online learning management portals are emerging. In future, many number of platforms will come. Many people are trying. Recently, the Byju's in India also they are supporting for this kind of learning tutorials for the students to engage. Udemy, Coursera, EDX are the pioneers. LinkedIn also providing through their SlideShare kind of opportunity to learn and equip well. So these are all the comparisons for 5 online MOOC platforms with the different qualities or different capacities. We have to procure these kind of features for us. So the central classrooms through the mark will be the futuristic educational model. It is the kind of idea for us when we are planning certain values to incorporate. We can get affiliated with this MOOC online coursework to engage for our curricular pattern in National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, and other universities in Singapore. They are keeping with the EDX platform uh, for the students to plug and play with the kind of online courses. The education ecosystem for the future, which is very much important to think. Technology research centers are very important to create the new platforms, new additions, or new systems, or new softwares, and then how to provide the authenticity for those kind of learning. So it is bound to the government side or legal authorities. That way, we have to support for different ecosystem in the society, like schools at all levels, or business environment, are the people who want to learn and develop the vocational skills or vocational training. I have to provide a small case study with the Smart Nation environment of Singapore for you to better understand why should we talk about this particular topic in this era. It is the condition the faculties must need to enable themselves and prepare themselves for the futuristic values which are very important. Whatever the subject, whatever the level of the colleges or universities, it is very essential to think and proliferate. A smart nation, the responsibility is serving citizens and businesses better through adopting the technologies. Uh, that is the value we must need to think and incorporate when we are planning to provide the education support for the students. Smart nation is engaging with many ideas, but the policy is creating one smart nation. Here, few policies they have to uh, provide in this particular cartoon. Emergency and disaster management, interagency kind of collaborations. One department can collaborate with others when the mitigations or policies they have to bound to take action. Like financial ministry can engage with so that is the way transportation ministry must engage with the logistic ministry. So all these things are putting together. Our medical industries are putting up with the legal uh, enforcement kind of agencies. So that is the way we have to think. And service to the people through the civil services or diplomatic kind of ideologies. We have to share all this information to create the values for uh, doing the better service to the people through the national infrastructures or engagements with overseas atmospheres. Smart nation requirements, there are many components involved like smart healthcare, smart education, smart community establishment, smart hospitality, smart power supplies, smart factory environment where the opportunity for taking health risk are reduced and pollutions are reduced like that. Smart warehouses like logistics and storage, that is also very important. Smart transparent transportation like no pollution kind of atmosphere. Singapore is planning to have more electrical vehicles in near future to reduce the carbon emission from the vehicles. So the massive rail transport system MRT, Singapore MRT, they are engaging mostly now electrical vehicles. That is also a way to reduce the carbon emission through the fossil fuel kind of involvement. So So without education, there is no changes happening in the particular environment or nearby time. So Singapore is concentrating through the Ministry of Education to reframe the education pattern, uh, the desirable outcomes from the education. They have to design and engage with the right partners or right stakeholders. Um, Recently, I attended the meeting conducted by the Minister of Education. There are certain policies like how to engage the different pillars who are involving for the educational ecosystem. It is not only the duty of teachers and students, but also the parents must need to understand the ecosystem and support their students at home. At the same time, the social responsibility from different stakeholders who are supporting the educational ecosystem from outside of the environment in the learning ecosystem, and also the alumni who are making themselves to reflect certain values to the parental institutions wherever they are, however they are as of now. So their values are also important for the institution to procure from the alumni kind of groups. This is the small pathways and a smart pathway of Singapore education journey. They are also having primary education for 6 years and secondary education for 4 to 5 years because they have different kind of learning pattern for the slow learners and fast learners. So they have 4 to 5 years of secondary, and post secondary they are having either junior college level for 2 years or ITE for 1 year and polytechnic for 3 years. Later, they are going for higher education kind of pattern, undergraduation or post graduation or integrated courses to take forward for PhD. Then they are becoming like a future workforce. That is the way the Ministry of Education designed the continuing education and training policy. So the training will help the person or personality to build, improve the efficiencies for the people, also giving the support for the employees to withstand in the task oriented. What are the strategies involved? Strategies must need to equip them to learn on their own self manner and engage certain kind of activities through case studies, assignment based, scenario based, or debate based. That is the way only you ensure the learning is good one for them to uh, properly adopt. That is the policy we have to create, the holistic or integrated learning system. These are all the values we have to create during the time of developing the content for the training modules or training atmospheres. This is the another nutshell pathway. We could equip the trainers how to deal with the training very successfully because the learners are coming from different environment, different capacity holders. In Singapore, they are coming from different nationalities who learn and evolve from different atmosphere, different learning patterns. But the trainer is making them to understand how to deal with the training condition. So the training must need to approach with the desirable results to get it out, and training courses are designed such a way to ensure the learning is more comfort for them, and targeting group, as I already mentioned, slow learners, fast learners, or medium learners. We have to ensure the learning is very smooth for them to learn and adopt. Resources, equipping with different kind of sources or resources in the classroom or outside the classroom, or making them to do the assignment or submitting through the online pattern. All these sources are very important, so that way the resources ensuring them to learn and equip the pattern of learning is successful. Training allows the goals to achieve the reflections or retentions or takeaways underpinning knowledge or the practice oriented kind of performance values. All these things are very important. The trainer model, like a refreshment, refresher course, orientation course, that college professors they are or university professors they are engaging from academic staff college. It is quite possible the similar way. How do they learn and equip for their KPIs to meet out? Training, it might be a way we can clarify here, coaching with one-to-one or one to few groups of learning, teaching with the seminar hall or something, learning in the real-time atmosphere or experiential kind of learning with the conditions. Evaluation must need to be very open mindset manner. Knowledge must need to be very updated and performance oriented, doing kind of things, otherwise they can't relate to their values experience. Through these kind of values we have to engage for the futuristic skills. Design an effective or innovative kind of atmosphere is very important, so that we have to provide the cross training program, different kind of groups or different kind of learning environment we have to provide for them. This is the flip model for training evaluation, for mostly the assessment oriented from the starting point and engaging the program to the ending program. This is another model, Kirkpatrick's four-level training evaluation model, where we have to find out the activities, how to get the reactions from them. Learning must need to ensure the knowledge and skill sets for the employees. Behavioral changes, it must need to ensure the right attitude to reflect for that kind of environment, impacting on their business goals or achievements from the workforce. Whether the training as a service, it should be a customized one, it should be very targeted kind of focus, and procuring the experts for the particular environment. Without that, the training won't be a materialistic thing. So the corporate capacity is providing different kind of training through their corporate capability academy. So we have to follow the certain ways how to engage the different kind of learning atmosphere, like traditional training or self-directed learning, to capability building kind of academies. That is very, very important with the current digital tools. Uh, Most of the IT companies, they are engaging this kind of capability building kind of training. How corporate learning has evolved, because of the demand and the conditions, the curricular portions could not ensure the necessary skill sets or the capacity for the people. So the capability building academies, like IT oriented atmospheres or any new generation technology oriented atmosphere, they wanted to have their own capability building academics. In Singapore Building Construction Authority, they are providing certain level of courses. Um, Land Transport Authority, they are providing certain courses. Health Science Authority, they are providing certain courses. Workforce Development Authority, WDA, they are providing nearly 13,000 courses under the WSK frameworks. Personal training as a business model, here many ways we have to improve the personality or personal values. Because of the personal values only, you could engage yourself for doing the right job in the right place and withstand in the long run for the organizational requirements. Singapore is providing the lifelong learning atmosphere through the Workforce Development Authority enabled courses. This is the learning place of lifelong learning in Paya Lebar area. Uh, this is the internal atmosphere where the engagements for the learners are very fruitful, like smart model classroom, and that is the values they are providing. And this is the another division available in the Jurong East area, Devan Nair Institute of Employability Skills, E2I, Employment and Employability Skills. So Singapore is well designed atmosphere. They frame different kind of learning atmosphere. The universities and colleges which are supporting all these frameworks to engage. National level learning, especially the lifelong learning, is a culture here. Nearly 2.5 billion dollars they have provided for the learners. These are all the subsidies for the local people, Singaporeans and Singapore permanent residents, to engage for lifelong learning as a tool or a career supporting things for them. This is the national certification under workforce skill qualifications.
So it is the time for us to think the national level skills, how to fit into the atmosphere, the code of practice, code of ethics, or roles and responsibilities, commitments and contributions for the workforces. This is the principles designed for that. The modules are very flexible, compatible for them. Small bite-oriented modules, and in-house training or on-job training also providing along with the WSQ principles. This is the certification pattern. They provide with the different kind of capacities and categories. Certificates, normal certificate, higher advanced certificate, diploma, specialist diploma, graduate diploma, and specialist graduate diploma kind of things. These are all the modules now incorporated for the university atmospheres as well. This is the certificate of achievement. Uh, these are all the steps which are involved for the vocational training or infocom training. Uh, they plan such a way to prepare the curriculum. They build the capacity inside the classroom, create the values for them to retention very well, and enabling the training and teaching very effective for them uh, to be very user friendly and successful kind of criteria to create. This is the model for security kind of line. They are making the security officers through this learning transformation from certificate to diploma conditions. So this is another Python fundamental course for the beginners because early stage they can't go with the universities, but these are all the value added courses they can take with the small certification programs. And the smart nation, having the building smart or building very efficient ways to practice, making the green atmospheres very user friendly for all to live in a healthy manner. Partnering industries, like earlier I mentioned, BC Academy is providing such a kind of specialist diploma program, partnered with the different industrial groups, and they are providing the BC Green Mark scheme and ensuring the way how to plug and practice for the green environment to build in the ecosystem. This is the DCA approved training and testing center in various places located in Singapore. This is the Ministry of Manpower supporting for the continuing education and training atmosphere, the roadmap for them. And A-Star is the premier research institution. They are also having the capacity to support for research atmosphere or innovation development. They are penetrating into the ecosystem, the market where the multinational companies, small medium enterprises, or community stakeholders, or institutes, small institutes, they could collaborate with them. That is the Accelerate platform is supporting for them to collaborate and having joint venture to support for the problem-based approach. So, as I already mentioned, the problem-based things are enabling and making the transformation for the new pattern of learning. Many institutions can come forward and support in the ecosystem. How do they plug and play with the institute industry partnership? So the Singapore engineers are equipping themselves for the new development in the smart model factory. There are certain simulation model we can create. So the machine power are reducing the human resource. So that is the futuristic model. We have to understand how to make them to be collaborative with this kind of new smart model factory to work well. Singapore has this kind of value-added educational ecosystem, polytechnics and private institutions, along with the government universities. This is the cluster of innovation and enterprises put together their values for research, innovation, enterprises, and councils to support for the socio-economic factors. Lee Kong Chian School of Medicine is the NTU Nanyang Technological University oriented place where they have created the values through the educational concepts like how to adapt. They chose the four major patterns for the public health and aging in between: metabolic disorders, neuroscience and mental health, infections and immunity, dermatology and skin biology. And they prepare the subsequent modules which are supporting for the learning atmosphere is very fruitful. Energy Research Institute of Nanyang Technological University, they have the interdisciplinary research program engaging different stakeholders, industrial partners, community supporters for creating a sustainable ecosystem and elevating the smart model nation for the futuristic purpose. This is the another value-added institute, Nanyang Technology University Institute for Science and Technology and Humanity. As I already mentioned, the war between human resource and machine resource evolved. So we have to find out how to protect the humanity in a human uh, pathways, how to equip them for the futuristic workforce to engage along with the machine source. So the professional service and transformations are very important. So these are all the values we have to focus and priorly procure for the designing of curriculum. I build Singapore is having this kind of program, I lead program. So to build the leaders, to engage different kind of personality oriented leaders, to groom the skill sets for the next generation who can support for the change of atmosphere, that is the change kind of leaders. This is the BSAFE certification, business safety. Singapore having different kind of practices, but wanted to ensure as per the compliance regulation provided by the uh, Workplace Safety Health Council (WSHC). So every company must need to procure these particular license when they are doing and practicing the right safety measurements or healthy practices. Research 2030, these are all the values we have to put upon in our mindset when we are designing and shaping the research experimental pathways. Otherwise, we could not get the right funds or right publications or even going for intellectual property rights to claim. So all these things we must need to focus well, how to make ourselves to design competitive research and creating the values for the futuristic purpose. So map of current research trends, that is creating the value for different kind of uh, people. So we have to procure and provide the right atmosphere for them. Diversity of modern research. This is the model for IBM. They are having the diversity of disciplines to incorporate, like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cloud computing, semiconductor technology, biology, physical science. So the integrated kind of things enabling the futuristic model of the research-oriented products or research-oriented services. These are all the new generation technologies like artificial intelligence, AR, VR solutions, smart model system like solar panels, engaged kind of homes. Uh, the platform where we are having the conditions to transform the necessary skills through adaptive technologies, drones, smart cars, the electric cars, and so on. Industrial 4.0, engaging all these new generation technology as earlier we focused. Startup ecosystem as another point of view. Many institutions, they don't have the entrepreneurship development program engaging the entrepreneurial pathways along with the industrial partners. So this is the time many institutes and industries, they are getting partnered for this particular atmosphere. That's why we are very keen to sign up for the MOU and engaging the entrepreneurial learning pathways for both faculties and students, incubating the company inside the institution, making them mature ready for the social cause in future. These are all the values exchanged between the institute and the industry, where the university and the industry getting partnered, they could exchange all these values, their social responsibilities, providing the curricular pattern to learn and excel, where the talent building and capacities by the industries, and providing the research atmospheres to give innovative product development. The innovation could be procured for the futuristic entrepreneurship designs or models. Industry atmospheres where government and academic. Without that, they can't able to achieve the greater transformational values. So the tripartite association between the industry, academia, and the government collaborations are very much important and demanded as of now. How to build an entrepreneurial university? As I already mentioned, it is the time for every institutions to think whether they are having the entrepreneurial values or entrepreneurial supports from the ecosystem. So we have to support all these things as per the demand. It's creating the value as of now. Why do we have all these things? Because we want to have the smart people in and around with us, the multitask oriented, multi competent, capacity oriented person who are having the smart values like specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely bounded kind of capacity holders. And the branded companies as of now, they are expecting these kind of values. They don't want only the employee who are coming and discharging the duties as assigned, but they are looking for the quality oriented or capacity oriented or attitude oriented personalities, like who are very optimistic, who are very friendly, who are very bold and courage to do the excited things, who are very creative and sourceful and trustable, and having the work-life balance to manage as a peaceful or calm manner. That is the way they are recruiting the talents as of now. So applied learning program, it is another pathway to train and develop the necessary skill sets. As of now, many of these new generation technologies are not created the value in many learning places. So the small bite oriented training or workshops will give the capacity to build for the persons, both faculties and students. Amazon now they are monetizing through the EDX powered learning platform. They are adapting to engage their staff members, other stakeholders to create the learning pattern very user friendly for them. So AC International also providing the global immersion program, how to focus for different elements. The template is creating the value, technological procurement, executive capacity, managerial performance, and professional values to build leadership qualities to engage and equip. Authenticity or authority oriented kind of designations, they have to procure the license to prepare for that. Thinker or creative value personality, who are problem solver and the way they are ensuring the organization to sustain and succeed well. Excellence, that is the value they are providing along with these kind of collected qualities. STEM education, as earlier mentioned, science, technology, engineering, maths, we have to ensure for the school level to higher learning level. The key points are fostering the spirit of creativity and enterprising mindset, focus to provide the authentic learning experience, and areas to support for the entrepreneurship education and teach the 21st century oriented skill sets. Educational tour is another kind of supporting elements where the people from different countries, the developing countries visiting to Singapore, they could explore all these learning atmospheres in the colleges. Both students and faculties could make the visit to Smart Nation environment in a short-term manner, and a global immersion program equipping for learning the cross-culture kind of atmospheres, how to incubate themselves to explore the possible ways, career opportunities, visibilities are very high. Relationship to build with different stakeholders or different cultural valued personality is very strong. Trustworthy is the basic element. Without trust, nobody will believe. Networking is the network. So these are all the networking atmospheres you create for the global relationship to build strong. Empowerment is the right excellent strategy. So you have to transform your mindset as an open-minded person to make the pathways to go global. Global connection is the policy as of now. As I mentioned earlier, many MNC companies, corporate companies are looking for the global connected or global oriented personalities. We are the family. We are building the strong root together through the physical environment, emotional conditions, or spiritual belief, or financial conditions, whatever it might be, social engagements. So these are all the values to bring the stronger community to put together. Thank you so much for listening. I hope the talk session is very supportive for you. I'm looking forward for any questions or doubts to be answered.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. This is Nirmala, sir. I have one question, sir.
Yes.
What kind of certification programs for the students and faculty is available under the global immersion program?
There are a lot of courses available in the global perception, like EC Council is providing cybersecurity oriented course and certification. Artificial Intelligence of Singapore also providing certificates, and other things like lead auditors through certain agencies they are procuring for ISO standards to audit and certify. So many courses like IOSH, uh,
Okay, sir.
they are providing for the safety, health,
Uh,
and environment. Yes. Hello.
yeah, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Even for certified auditing professional, right? UK or Singapore and Australia, they are having the like our CA, chartered accounting kind of certificates, right? These are all the values they can get from the respective authority. For commerce student, it
Sir,
will
is there
be
any opportunities for job if they completed the certification programs? Is there any opportunities for their career, sir? Job opportunities?
yes, certainly. But for Singapore atmosphere, they must need to have sufficient experience to handle the task.
Hmm.
Freshers, because the freshers are
Okay.
coming out from Singapore itself, so they have to compete to the local
Hmm.
freshers. So they are having much more better opportunity to ensure the real-time task to complete. Because during the time of learning, they are working as a part-time personality, or they are engaging some freelance projects, or they are engaging community-oriented projects to support as a volunteer. But these things are not available for the
Hmm.
overseas freshers. If they
Okay,
gain these
okay.
kind of values in their places, and they have to provide sufficient experiential kind of supporting document or certificates, or the successful task oriented completion scenario. So these are all the values could be considered when they wanted to recruit the overseas talents when they are coming as a fresher. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir. Participants, is there any queries? Participants?
There is a person, Sasikala Arul Prakash. Raise the hand, but I never asked.
If you want to ask questions, you can ask the question. Sir, shall I conclude, sir?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought and that gratitude and happiness is doubled by wonder. Now it's time to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I take immense pleasure in thanking our today's speaker, Dr. B. Ramanathan, sir, for sharing his views and thoughts on the topic Futuristic Educational Ecosystem as a Strategic Piece of Teaching and Learning. Sir, your views on creating opportunities and sustainable academic development through students, industry, and academia was an eye-opener for today's scenario. And also, you have stated the points towards how the technology the future education with the help of smart classes and more ICT tools. Thank you, sir, for presenting this wonderful session. Once
Thank,
again, thank you, sir. I'd
thank
like to thank all the heads of the commerce stream for arranging this 7 days international level virtual FDP program. I thank all the participants in and around Tamil Nadu, other states, and overseas participants for their active participation. Once again, I thank you all for participating in this international virtual FDP program. I request all the participants to kindly join tomorrow at 11 a.m. sharply through the YouTube live link, which will be shared in the group tomorrow. I kindly request to subscribe our YouTube channel also. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So most of them are faculties, right?
Yes, sir. All our faculties.
All are
It's going on the live stream also, sir. YouTube live stream also. I will
faculties.
share you the YouTube